This conference will now be recorded.
There
So
we
it,
go.
it it's 4:40 p.m. on November 5th, and I'm calling this meeting of the City of Kingston Ethics Board to order. Um, the if the board members could identify yourself in a roll call, that would be delightful, so that we'll have a record of who is here. I'm Alan Nace.
Michael Decker.
Jackie DeSico.
And we're a board of four at this time, with three present and awaiting um, the arrival of the fourth. So, um, a number of things are before the ethics board at this time. I wanted to go over a few things just to clarify. Um, Initially, the disclosures that were required and hadn't been completed in full and were sent back out. Has everyone completed theirs?
No, this is Jackie. There's two outstanding that we have not heard from.
Okay. Are they employees or officials or?
No, this is Jackie again. They are members of boards. They are not employees and they are not elected officials.
Okay. So, without names, I think that we need to send a letter to them, to their board chair and or the appointing authority. Um, it's November, and letters were sent out.
Yes.
Do you know when or how many or how many times?
Um,
There was the
one,
original.
looks like they were last sent in August.
Okay. Yeah, I think if they haven't responded yet, we need to contact them. And I know these are very strange times, you know, with COVID and people not actually reporting to a place, but working from home for the most part. Um, I Our person, I think Dana is trying to call in. Oh, okay, you got him. All right. So our fourth is attempting to call into the meeting. um, so what would our next process be in that case? In terms of the couple of people who have not submitted their disclosures, and do they continue to be part of a board or a commission?
I guess that's the question. What is the next step?
Right. So they are still engaged as a board member or commission somewhere.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Um, well, I can also, if you want to send me their name and phone number, I can also call them, um, and or we can send out a letter. But truth be told, it's really unacceptable that people haven't responded by November. Um, so anyway, if you, I don't know if you'd want to prepare a letter, if we have a letter prepared.
The last letter, I believe, said that Hold on, this is Jackie again. Let me see what the
Hi,
letter said.
Jackie. Dana Blackman just joining.
Hi,
Hi.
Dana.
So our Dana Blackman, our fourth board member, is present, and we have a full board in attendance, a full board of the sitting members.
Alan, the letter that went out August 4th stated that if they failed to submit a financial disclosure statement within 30 days, it may result in a fine or disciplinary action up to and including removal from the board.
Okay. Um, so with a full board, is there any discussion on, these are unpaid people, I'm assuming, who are volunteering. And would that be different than an employee who is actually getting paid? Would our response be the same or different? And what would be a reasonable attachment to this? A verbal reminder, a written reminder, a fine, or a removal from office sounds like our four options.
Do we have receipt of their notice?
No, it wasn't sent certified.
Okay. So, yeah, if you could send me their contact information, I will call them. And I can give them 30 days to get 2020 and 2021, because it's time for that. If that's
Have we ever advised people of the consequences of their not complying? Do you want to tell them in the notice that if they don't comply, they may be removed from office?
Yeah, Jackie just read the letter that she had sent to them, and it listed, what were they again, Jackie?
Failure to submit a financial disclosure statement may result in a fine or disciplinary action up to and including removal from the board.
And I'm hesitant to turn it into a punishment tool. But we really do need those disclosures.
Appears to be the same people that were not complying in the previous year as well.
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Well,
I think
maybe
it's worthy of I think it's worthy of a discussion with the board chair for them to have that discussion with them as well. It is a requirement for them to serve on their board.
Yeah. I mean, I can call the board chairs if you want to send me their names and numbers, as well as the member who is not in compliance, and let them know that if we don't receive them, they'll need to find other board members, and there may be a fine attached to it.
okay.
And I hate to get there, but we need to act responsibly, and with multiple warnings and multiple notices rather, people need to. There's an expectation of compliance. So, other things are on our agenda is, and I may have the numbers wrong. So please correct me, Jackie. Um, Complaints that have been filed, and some have been existing for a while, and we've met and attempted to resolve them and run into um, issues of legal interpretations, and have gained, after a time, have gained approval for the engagement of outside legal counsel. And we've received some guidance from outside legal counsel. And it's my hope that Not at tonight's meeting, because we'll be hearing more in an executive session. We'll be hearing more from individuals who are going to be interviewed. And at some point, maybe some privileged guidance from the attorney. And then hopefully we can make a decision in the near future on the ones that have been existing at early COVID. I believe it was just around the time that COVID came, and it kind of disrupted our meeting in person and gaining approvals. So that, I believe, is complaint number 2. Is that?
Yeah, complaint number 1 was resolved, I believe. Or at least part of it was. Hold on, let me open it. A few of the complaints had several parts to it.
Right.
So the parts that were not resolved with 1, 2, and 3
Mm-hmm.
are all tied in together, and that's what we are speaking to outside counsel about.
And that would be, what is it, 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 all had something to do with a similar complaint.
Okay. And there were some complaints involving specific individuals that were resolved, and the complainant and the person that the complaint was against were notified of the outcomes.
Yes.
Okay. So, so tonight, when we interview people, it will be primarily about 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Okay.
The rest of the complaints have been received from July on.
Okay. Newer complaints were from July. Now, are any of those complaints a safety issue or an urgency or harassment or abuse issues or something that of urgency that we would need to address immediately?
No, I sent them all out to all of you. I don't know that I should be the only one answering that.
No. No. It's a question for all of the board or all of the people who have received them. And I don't want to be the one making that decision, and having missed something or. Mr. Decker and Mr. Blackman, did you have any thoughts on that? And if there's anything that's urgent that we would need to address immediately?
Sorry, I was on mute. I didn't see anything that was imperative for this evening.
And who's speaking?
Mike Decker.
Mike Decker. And Dana, did you comment?
Yeah, I don't have any belief of anything that's urgent,
Okay.
in the vein
So-
that you're describing.
Right. So and please speak up. These are just thoughts. My thought is that the long-standing issues that have not been resolved, if there's nothing urgent, we can address them and ideally resolve them, and then move on in the next meetings to the July onward complaints. What are your thoughts on that?
I support that. Mike Decker, I support that.
Okay.
Jackie DeSico, I support it.
Dana Blackman, I support it.
Okay. So tonight we'll be addressing complaints 1, 2, and 3, and hearing testimony or input or feedback from individuals who may be interviewed. These complaints, 1, 2, and 3, involve complaints against employees, board members, or officials of the city, and relate to specific individuals and specific complaints. And I would think that the discussion of the specifics of the case and the names and the details surrounding it would require privacy and confidentiality, since there have been no findings at this time. Does the board agree with that? And if so, would that require us to go into an executive session?
I agree with that. Move to executive session before we discuss those.
Okay. Is there any discussion or debate on going into an executive session or opposition to that from the board? Or
Dana Blackman, no opposition.
Just prior to maintain agenda, we should review and approve the July meeting minutes before going into.
Before. Okay. So has everyone had a chance to read those minutes?
Mike Decker, I have make a motion we accept those minutes as posted.
Okay. Any discussion or corrections? No discussion, no corrections?
Dana Blackman, I second the approving the minutes.
Do we have in a second? So all in favor of accepting those minutes as written? And
Jackie.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Mike.
Right. So unanimous acceptance of the minutes, so moved. So we will return to the discussion of moving into executive session. We had a motion. I believe Mike Decker made that motion.
Jackie
Yes.
DeSico, I second the motion to move into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Okay. And Mr. Blackman, are you a yay or a nay on?
Yay.
Yay. So it's a unanimous decision for the ethics board to go into an executive session and explore complaints 1, 2, and 3, and any other issues that may arise from any conversations or interviews or declarations that come as a result of that. So at this time, we will go into an executive session. And Jackie, did you send? We have that link, right?
I sent it in a text to you.
Text. All right. So many ways of getting messages these days. I don't know. So for the public that is here, I really appreciate your attendance and your interest and your support and your involvement. And the board will be going into an executive session. Following the executive session, we would be going into coming having a vote and coming back out of executive session and back into the public meeting. The
Alan,
yeah,
there is a question by one
I
of
did.
the
Yeah,
public.
yeah, I just saw that. Why is everything done in secrecy? And I hear you. The rules are set up so that when complaints are made, people who the complaints are against are not publicly exposed and accused by the board, and that people who wish to or who need to be interviewed can do so with some assurance of confidentiality, so that fears of talking in an open public meeting don't expose them to whatever their fears are that they might be exposed to. I hope that answered the question, at least in part, hopefully in whole. So without further ado, we're going to, I'm going to step off of this format, go into an executive session, and return to this format when we complete that. And I really do appreciate, your involvement and your questions, because those are great questions, and I think they're common concerns. So we'll see you soon.
So we have to turn off our cameras and mute ourselves, and I'm going to stop recording.
All right.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we were in an executive session for the ethics board, and we voted to come out of executive session and back into the public session so that we can close up our meeting at some point in the very near future, a minute or so. But so I wanted to ask if the board members had anything that they wish to express or make a statement on, or not.
I
No.
wanted to make a motion that in the future we review the FOIL requests that come in and the control mechanisms we have in place. Then upon that, make recommendation to the ethics code on our findings. Forward that to the council.
Well, we'll review that. That's a suggestion to review it for next time, and we can vote on what our recommendations are for that then. And well, I think we're making progress. We're continuing to review some of the complaints. And do we know approximately when we'll schedule another meeting, or that will be posted?
We'll have to post it at some point. At this point, we don't have any date.
So, in terms of,
can we look for a date while we're gathered here? Can we look for a date that's agreeable? Because we have more to review, correct?
We have this case to review with our advisor, and then we have other cases that other complaints that are up for review. And so while we're waiting for our meeting with our advisor on this case, if everyone could review some of the other complaints and ideally be prepared to speak on them when we meet again.
Do we want to aim for December 3rd, Thursday?
It could work.
Gives us just under a month.
First Thursdays are tough. I'm missing another
Okay.
meeting right now.
Oh, what other night works for you?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, later. I won't be available until 6.
I'm not
Okay.
available the first 2 Wednesdays of December.
Tuesdays?
Same 6.
Tuesdays are no good for me either.
Yeah. So maybe you could send out a time, an
First
email to the
Monday.
board members and see, what time works. Right now, until probably maybe mid-December, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm not in town until like 6. Sometimes I
Mike,
can
you said
squeeze
the
out.
first Thursday's no good. I could probably do the second Thursday, but
Second Thursdays are fine.
So if that works for you, Jackie, let's put that down as a possibility, and
December
we
10th?
can, and if it works for our advisor,
Okay.
If
because
not, we could go over the other complaints. So
right,
Or-
yeah, I would schedule it, and then we can go over the other complaints if the advisor isn't available, and if he
Okay.
is available, we can hopefully finalize what we're working on.
Okay. So tentatively, December 10th.
Is any other communication? And I know we've had a long meeting. Any other discussion or communication or emotions? And
make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
there it is. A second,
Second.
Jackie.
I agree.
All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right. So this meeting of the Ethics Board for the City of Kingston is adjourned. Have a wonderful evening.
Great. Thank you.
Care.
Good night, everyone.